Going back to basics today, and we're going to be going on to our standard double crochet stitch. I've had somebody ask me about this, and they actually also requested maybe if it could be a washcloth as something to practice, which is a great way to practice your double crochet. So this is the little sample piece I've started. I have used 20 chain on this one. I think maybe a little bit more would make a better washcloth, but you can do as many chains as you want because the stitch will stay the same. Same as you can do as many rows as you want, because after the foundation row, they are exactly the same. So we can just keep repeating that pattern to make it as big or as small as you would like. This is 100% cotton, which if you were doing a washcloth is what I would recommend, because you need it to wash and wear, and they do make great washcloths. So this is a nice pink that I picked because I thought it looked quite nice against here, so you can see the contrast easy enough. And I'm also going to be using a 4mm crochet hook, a little bit larger than I would normally use, but I think it shows the stitches better. And that's just my scissors, obviously, that I'm going to be using to cut the ends off. So we're going to be starting with our chain, but I will mention the slip knot. Everybody does this differently. This is just my system. Let me put the hook down a minute. So I basically make a little loop. This is the quick way of doing it. And this bit here, I'll do it this way so you can see it a bit better, I think. I'm going to take it over that long bit there. Then I'm going to pick this bit up between my finger and thumb. I'm going to grab the other two pieces and we're going to pull. Now, because it's a slip knot, I can then tighten it up. Now, if I'm going to be doing my own, I can do it this way now because I've done it for so many years. You probably have your own system of doing it. Everybody's different, but this video is for a beginner or somebody who's maybe not ventured into amigurumi or double crochet, but a lot of people are taught trebles and they'll go for granny squares and things. That's been passed down on generations, but they never go beyond those stitches. So this is just a basic how-to really, and I hope it's going to work well for you. So I'm going to pop it onto the hook. I'm not going to pull it too tight. I need it to move up along. Put the yarn onto your hands as you prefer. I just like to take it over and then through, because I'm what they call a middle finger and thumb holder. I know some people do hold like that. It doesn't matter as long as it works for you. So I'm now going to hold where my little knot is, and I'm just going to pull the other end to tighten my yarn up. So here we go. We're going to go with a chain. So basically, this is why we don't pull this too tight. We're going to go under and grab and pull through. Move the finger and thumb up to hold it. Under, twist, pull through. Move the fingers up. Under and through. Move it up. I'm moving it up because it'll keep consistency on your stitches. If you allow it just to go longer and longer until you get used to it, the stitches will change in size, and you want to try and keep them as consistent as possible. And move it up. Chain practice is such an important part of crochet. The better your chain is, as boring as it might feel just doing lots of chain, the better your base of your crochet will be. So I'm not going to do a massive amount. We'll just take it nice and steady. The only reason I move my hand like that is because I'm just moving my wool along. You'll have your own way of doing it. We'll just do a couple more. I think that will do for a practice piece. Obviously it's smaller than this one, but again, you can go as long as you want that way and as long as you want that way, because it just keeps going the same. So I'll just unwind a little bit of yarn there, pop it back on my hands. Now you can see this is the last stitch I did. I'll take the hook out to point it out. That was the last one we did. I'm not going into that. I'm going to count that as my turning chain. I'm going to go into this one. Because my chain's quite loose, it's quite obvious, and the beauty of this cotton is it does give definition to stitches, so it's a little bit easier for you to see. So I'm going to go in over the top of the yarn, pull it through. We have two on the hook. I'm presuming that is why we're calling it a double crochet, because I know if we do a treble we have three. So I don't know whether that is the right reasoning, but it works for me. Then I'm going to go underneath this time. I'm going to twist and pull it through the two. Okay, that is a double crochet completed. Move it along to the next chain. You can see it's there. In the chain, over the top, grab the yarn and pull it through. Two on the hook. We go underneath now, twist and pull it through. We're going to do that again. So into the chain, over the top, pull it through. 2 on the hook, underneath, twist and pull it through. I will try and take this nice and steady, and I'm not going to talk through it now. I'm just going to do the stitches, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to follow it from there. Take your time, check it out, have a little practice on your own before you come back to the next bit that I do, whichever way works for yourself. So in, over the top, pull it through, underneath, twist, pull it through, in, over the top, pull it through, underneath, twist and pull it through. So nice and steady. I hope this will help. I did do one previously when I very first started doing the videos. I looked back on it yesterday, and I don't think it was clear enough. I don't think the yarn was right, so that's why I decided to do this, and because I had a request regarding a pattern for double crochet, and also maybe doing a washcloth. So I'm nearly at the end. You do need to make sure you get in that very last stitch. It's where your knot is. Can you see? That is a stitch. So in, pull it through, underneath and pull it through. So that is our foundation row. When you get past your foundation row, everything else seems to be easier. I absolutely hate doing a foundation row, especially if it's really long. So I do like to get past that, because then I feel I can crochet from there. So we're now going to do a turning chain. Some patterns will then say on the next row to this, make a chain. I like to do it before I turn my work. Again, individual choice. So I'm going to grab the yarn, pull it through and make a chain. Then I'm going to turn my work over. I'll do a little bit more yarn. And how I'm going to go here now is, I'm going to take the hook out just to show you. It's this stitch here. It's sort of directly below where the chain is. The other thing to watch for as I tip it over, can you see how it like creates a little plait all the way along? Now you need to pick up both pieces of this little plait. I'll just show for this second one here. So you can see like that. It does need to be both parts. It will still crochet if you pick up either the front or the back loop, but it will create you a ridge. It's a pattern, and it is used in patterns. I use it in patterns for things, but for a standard double crochet you should pick up both sides. So let me pop that back in my hook, and we'll have a go at doing our first double crochet row without the foundation row. So directly below, again, the beauty of this cotton, you can see all the holes, it's lovely. So in, through 2, so you can check if you twist it, you can check you've got both of them. I'm just tighten my yarn up a little bit. I'm going over the top to pull it through, 2 on the hook, exactly like the last one, and then underneath to twist to pull it through. Double crochet done. Into the next one, again, make sure, double check that you've got both. Grab it, pull it through, twist it, pull it through too. So I'll do a nice, hopefully slow row. I swear the camera speeds me up, because I know when I've looked back on a few things, I'm sure I did that slower, because it is hard obviously to try and follow somebody when you are a complete beginner. So over the top, pull it through. We have 2 on the hook, underneath, twist and pull it through. I'm hoping this is going to help. I'm hoping it's going to be clear enough. It's sometimes very hard to sort of teach somebody. It's easy to do something if somebody already knows how to crochet, but if they don't, it's not so easy to sort of do it. So nice and steady, making sure I pick both parts of that plait looking bit. Nice, in, pull it through too. As I say, I would recommend actually having a go with cotton, a double knit cotton, not a fine one, if you're just beginning, because you can see where your holes are much easier than if you were using an acrylic or if you were using finer yarns, etc. I know I was very impatient because I wanted to miniaturize quite quickly when I first started. I did miniaturize into cotton, so it wasn't as bad, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend you jump straight to it. You take your time, enjoy what you're doing as well, and the more you practice the better you get. I'm going to stop here because I want to make sure we get that last stitch, because the last one doesn't really look like a stitch. I get it. This is why people miss it. So you sometimes find people have a nice straight side one side and then the other side goes across. So, and that is purely because we're missing a stitch somewhere. So what I want to do is I'll just turn it so you can see it, because it sort of like twists over. It is there. That's the one bit and that's the other bit, but it's getting in it. You almost have to go in on an angle. So hook in, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to double check. Can you see I've got both pieces now, but I have had to go in on an angle there. I'm going to grab my yarn, pull it through and pull it through the two. So that is every single stitch covered now, which is important. I'm going to do a chain again before I turn, then I turn. Now again, this is the other one. Sometimes people think, oh, that's a stitch, so they'll jump over here. Nope, it's directly below, and it's took me years to get that right, believe you me. So if I can sort of stop your errors now, that's helpful for everybody. So I'm now going to do, making sure I'm picking up both pieces again, a double crochet row all the way along. So both pieces, pull it through and off we go. Oh, look at that, it's split. I absolutely adore cotton, but it can split. So take it out if it splits and do it again. The beauty of crochet is only one stitch. It's easy enough. There's only ever one stitch on that hook. So you can undo as far as you want and start again without risking any drop stitches or having to pick up, sort of fano knitting you have to pick up. I can knit, but that was one thing that used to really wind me up when I knitted. So that's why I left it to my mum, the knitting. Because I think unless you're very proficient, no matter how much you try and pick those stitches up, it shows. So nice and steady for this double crochet. And again, a little split there, it's easy resolved. I might redo a couple of my earlier videos actually, because like I say, I wanted to call this like back to basics. So I think we will do trebles, we will do granny squares, and I'll just redo everything so it's a bit clearer. So there's that. You see that last stitch again? It looks a bit lumpy, a bit difficult to get as a stitch. It is there. So I'm going to pop in, make sure I get both sides, which I have. You can see I've got both sides there. Grab the yarn and pull it through and pull it through. Remember, we have a chain. It is a turning chain, not a stitch. We turn our work and we go directly below where it is, and off we go again, making sure we're picking up every single stitch and both sides of that stitch as well, unless you deliberately do want to make a sort of a ridge sort of effect. It's something you could play around with perhaps. Sort of picking up either the front loop or the back loop. The front loop's usually the easiest one to go. So I'm just doing a nice simple, it's going to be a quick video this, because I don't need to do miles and miles of the rows, because you can just keep doing the same thing yourself. So you sort of don't really need to see me do that. But the more you do, the better. And sort of, I know if you are really beginning, you're going, oh, but it's really flowing when you're doing it. That's because there's been a lot of practice there. Believe you me, when I started, I threw lots of pieces in the bin. I still throw things in the bin if they don't work, or I undo things, I'm ripping things open and things like that. It doesn't always work, but it's about learning the patience, and the more you do, the easier that gets as well. So we're almost at that end again. And I want to stop just to make sure we're getting that stitch, because we don't want a lopsided square. Double check where it is if you're not sure. In it goes on that, like I say, it's a slight angle it goes in. We've got both. Grab the yarn, pull it through. Grab the yarn, pull it through too. So that is your basis for a double crochet. Now, if you're going to be doing, say you've got 20 there, you would probably do approximately 20 rows to get yourself a nice square. But again, that is up to you, the shape you want from there. You could have done 50 and then do a big square. You can do these squares as panels. They do look lovely in a acrylic yarn or a fancy yarn, or a fluffy I wouldn't recommend. Fluffy yarn and double crochets, and they do work, but they're not easy because you can't see the holes. That does need some practice, so I would be careful with that. So if you're doing a square, sort of this sort of a size, I'd go between 20 and 25 chain, and then just repeat the technique I've done here until you get your nice square shape. And that is a fabulous way to practice. Same as doing a granny square is a great way to practice your double crochets. So that is all I'm going to do today. I hope that's going to make sense. I'm going to pass this on to the lady who's asked me as well and see if she wants any more information. If you do require any more information, if I can help, just leave me a question or comment down below and I'll try my best to actually answer it. And if I don't know, I'll try and find out, or maybe get somebody else or pass you on to somebody else who might be able to help you a little bit better. So thank you very much for watching. That's our first video for Back to Basics crochet, and I will see you very soon. Please like, subscribe and share if you did find this useful, or maybe you know somebody who's wanting to start crochet, and I'll see you all very soon. So thank you for watching. Bye.